A portion of this video is sponsored by the Perth Mint's Gold Pass, the easiest way to buy and sell gold directly from your phone. Stay tuned to the end of the video to learn more. Hey guys, John Rettinger with John4Lakers.com here. Macworld is quickly approaching. Up first, we have a brand new phone from Apple, rumored to be called the 6C or the 7C, depending on who you believe, although I put my money on it being called the 6C. But the big story, at least I think, is a smart connector. We're hearing rumors of the iPhone 7S. So the first thing that everybody's been hearing about is this iPhone Nano. I don't care how nice an OLED panel looks or how edge-to-edge a phone looks. You're gonna be damn hard pressed to pay $1,400 for any phone. So yeah, I was wrong. So we've all done it. We've read the articles and the rumors, we've seen the concept videos, maybe we've even held dummy units. We get hyped about new phones and new iPhones. And then every year it happens, it gets announced and it's disappointing because it's not living up to the rumors and the expectations that others have set for Apple. And this year is no exception. All of the rumors around the iPhone 12 are shaping it up to be a huge, huge step forward for what Apple's doing. But I got some bad news for you. So it's no surprise that a new iPhone is coming after the iPhone 11 line. It's happened every year. But this is the first year actually that Apple has surprisingly acknowledged that a new phone is coming. In the past quarterly earnings, Apple said the successor to the 11 is coming. It will just be, quote, a few weeks late. And that was to the surprise of no one. Apple has certainly fallen victim to what's going on with the current state of COVID in the world. Supply chains got constrained. Apple couldn't go to China to take a look at early production models. It was expected that things were going to be, at the very least, a few weeks behind. So we should see 4 iPhones this year. So the iPhone 12 looks to be broken up into 2 categories, an iPhone 12 and an iPhone 12 Max, with the smaller being 5.4 inches and the bigger one being 6.1. And then the same thing for the Pro line, smaller and a Max, with the regular Pro being 6.1, so the same size as the Max on the 12, and the big daddy of them all, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, going to a pretty large, by Apple standards, 6.7 inches. One rumor that has been consistent is the design of the phone, kind of being more reminiscent of the iPad Pro and the iPhone 4 with kind of the squared off edges. And this is Apple bucking the trend we're seeing recently with kind of waterfall edges kind of coming back into fashion. So I'm super excited for this. I think the iPad Pro design is perfect. I thought the design of the iPhone 4 was also pretty close to perfect, save for some antenna band issues. So going back to that flat design, I am super excited to see. So we had some opportunity to get some dummy units, which are just those total dummy units. It may not represent what the final ones look like, but if it is an indication, you are in for some really nice feeling phones. And Apple devices have always felt nice in the hand. These are easy to pick up. So according to some new CAD renders from Everything Apple Pro, it appears the notch, like I said, is going to be the same size, which contradicts some earlier rumors that there were some new trued up sensors Apple was using. The notch was going to shrink 1/3 the size. Whether or not Apple couldn't get the sensors working or the fill rate was too high, we will never know, but that same notch is sticking around for another year. So the other big rumor that's sort of been following the iPhone 12 line is ProMotion. Is it finally gonna make its way to the iPhone this year? And there's no conclusive answer depending on who you ask. It seems to keep going back and forth. So the prevailing theory is that Apple saw higher fail rates with the 120 hertz screens activated, so they decided to not use it. Some leaks this week suggest we might actually see it on the Pro lines. We saw a picture of an iPhone 12 Pro Max with a high refresh toggle built into iOS. So if I can just editorialize for a minute, and I understand the difference in refresh rates between OLED and LCD technology, I think it is an embarrassment for Apple to charge the prices they're going to charge for the Pro lines of phones, $1,000 plus, and not have a higher refresh screen. So another persistent rumor is 5G. And if there's anything you could say was sort of definite, it'd be the design and 5G support will be here. There's been conflicting rumors whether or not it's gonna support sub-6 and millimeter wave, or which phones are gonna do what depending on the reason. It does appear that these phones will support both flavors of 5G. Listen, with 5G, no matter what modem is being used, like, battery life is going to be a concern. And I think if you could point to one awesome thing about the 11 Pro line of phones, battery life was really good, especially the Pro Max. And the rumor is that these 12 phones are going to get thinner, which generally means battery is what gets sacrificed. So it's perplexing if these battery rumors do end up being true, and we've seen them show up in filings. So I think there's a lot of credence to these milliamp hour sizes, but it looks like the batteries for the iPhone 12 line are going to get smaller than their iPhone 11 counterparts, which is not awesome in my book. So obviously the counterpoint to that is Apple's chip efficiency. They'll be the first ones to tell you milliamp hours don't matter. We should see the A14 chip make its way into the iPhone 12 line of phones, and perhaps it'll be the most power efficient chip Apple's ever made, and we won't care that there's smaller battery life. But if we learned anything from the iPhone SE and the A13, which was supposed to be one of the most efficient chips Apple's ever made, they do not always hit a home run when it comes to battery life. So I'm a bit nervous this year for how long these phones are going to last. Sort of the last two big question marks with these phones are camera and price. And I guess camera, I mean sensor. So LiDAR made its way to the 2020 iPad Pro. It's a fun feature, although not very useful right now, but something that you might need for the future, especially when it comes to augmented reality stuff. The initial rumor when these sort of cycles started with the iPhone 12 was that all the Pro models would have that LiDAR sensor built in that we see in the iPad Pro. That shifted a little bit, only the Big Daddy, the 6.7 12 Pro Max, getting that LiDAR sensor. So that may not be a big deal. LiDAR sensor for me is not a reason to buy or not buy a phone, but if you do want the iPhone that has the latest features that future-proof for years to come, it looks like you have to shell out an extra $100 and get used to carrying a 6.7-inch phone in your pocket. So, and speaking of price, and you'd expect, with there not being a charging brick in the box, that perhaps prices would go down. And you must have never met Apple. The current rumor is that prices will at the very least stay the same. And some rumors are suggesting that even some models, prices might even go up. But you can see what the rumors are suggesting right now for the price of these phones. Still very expensive. So the world is like a weird place right now, right? Stock market's going up, election coming here in the US in November, a lot of unknown about markets. And as somebody who does do a lot of investing, there's like a ton of question marks going on right now. But what is a fact is that gold, as of this filming, is trading at an all-time high at over $2,000 per ounce. Much like stocks, you can buy, sell, and trade gold all from your phone. And you can download the app for iOS or Android, link in some bank information, and then you are off and running. So you can obviously buy and sell gold right from GoldPass, but you can also instantly transfer to other GoldPass users. So despite buying the gold digitally, you're still actually owning and trading gold. It's actually held at the Perth Mint, and it's actually guaranteed and backed by the Western Australian government. So you don't have to worry about a company going under or your funds disappearing. So if you want to learn more, check it out or download the app for iOS or Android. We'll link to it down below. So that's what we know, or at the very least think we know, about the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro. So whether or not you are all hype, disappointed, or totally apathetic, I do think there are a few points that we can learn from all this. So the big one here is like, don't fall into the hype. And I get that I'm part of the hype train because I'm excited as somebody who loves technology. But remember, renders can be faked. Video mockups are generally just video mockups. And if you're watching this video, you're probably the one that your friends and family go to for tech advice and phone buying advice. So your opinion, I think, matters to a lot of people. But all the hype you hear, drown it out. And the phone does get announced, then make your own decision. And this isn't particular to like just Apple. These rumors, the hype train follows everybody. Samsung, LG, Huawei, and all the makers in between. It's hard to separate the hype from the reality sometimes. And I think you can still enjoy the hype and get excited for something, but never buy into it completely. And like, don't put too much stock in rumors. If you do, Apple historically disappoints compared to expectations. Remember, iPhone 11 was going to have reverse wireless charging. A new iMac was coming with a brand new design with Face ID built in. It was going to be the very first ARM computer that we saw. None of that appears to be happening. Just a few examples of the realistic expectations not living up to what Apple actually delivers. And like last one, I don't think you should ever make buying decisions off of rumors. And it's really never a good idea to buy a new iPhone in like July or August when you know something new is definitely a few months away, but holding out for like one specific rumored feature, waiting for that ARM iMac or waiting for the 120 hertz refresh iPhone, chances are you're going to be disappointed with what Apple ends up delivering. As much as I love following the iPhone rumors, just as somebody who enjoys tech, I have to always constantly remind myself the expectations and reality very rarely match up. And I love the rumor cycles just as a fan of the industry, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit disappointed with what the iPhone 12 is shaping up to be, and I'm totally a victim of the hype machine and the rumors and buying into all this crazy stuff that could be coming, and that still makes these keynotes a bit of fun. Where's the surprise going to be? Is there going to be a feature we didn't see coming? Are they going to take away a feature that we thought was going to come? And at the end of the day, it's not worth getting upset about. It's still just a phone.